Developmental philosophy is the part of the various philosophical attempts the main goal is not to just transcend progressive postmodernity. The main goal is to, in a sense, discover the new truth is going to be the saving grace to our civilization. So an important part of the values of this emerging worldview, not just the philosophy, but the kind of culture that it attempts to represent and stand for, is this recognition that science and spirituality, right, broadly defined, right, to include religion, to include all religion, spirituality, synonyms to describe humanity's approach to ultimate reality or deeper truths. And this, I would argue, is not something that's just going away. I mean, organized religion may be in the process of being diminished, but we can understand that as traditionalism as a worldview being transcended. But a hugely important part of this evolutionary impulse that you brought up is the spiritual impulse. In some ways, it might say that's the essence of it. And that this spiritual impulse is leading us to recognize that science and spirituality are two very important approaches to truth, that ultimately that the harmonization of these two, that preventing science from colonizing spirituality or preventing spirituality from asserting its own scientific view, philosophy has a role. It's like three legs of a stool, as I've said elsewhere. That is one of the things one of the goals of this philosophy is to bridge science and spirituality while keeping them separate domains, act as an integrating force that also recognizes that each one has to be respected on its own terms. And so the new philosophy that's I'm calling, in this large kind of family of views, developmental philosophy, recognizes that there's some deep truths about the universe that science is increasingly revealing. Right. So as I'm arguing in the book I'm writing now, and I've said to a lesser extent elsewhere, that really what science, the science is arguably its biggest discovery is evolution itself. Right. That the universe is only 13.8 billion years old, and that the structure of evolutionary emergence is sort of makes up our body, and more the idea that human civilization is a kind of evolution, can't be reduced, but it's an extension of this structure of emergence. That points to some very deep truths which were in some ways realized thousands of years ago by these great religious civilizations, and that is that we live in a universe of purpose and progress. That the universe that value is emerging, that evolution is creating value, that there's value where there's positive creativity, and that understanding the way that the universe is creating value, understanding its progress, can help us move toward greater understanding, greater discernment of its purpose. So reclaiming purpose and progress in a way that we're really pointing to the discoveries of science. We're not just asserting a religious belief system. This is a very important element of this new truth, which can reestablish a sense of transcendence and can also illuminate the interior universe in a way that gives us new sympathy for these other structures, but also shows us their partialities in a way that can help us move forward and make progress. In other words, the greatest human purpose is, at least while we're in this world, is to contribute to the evolution of the noosphere, because by doing so, we're contributing to the purpose of the larger universe as a whole. And so just being able to land that truth and really help people appreciate how science and spirituality are pointing to the same thing, properly interpreted, that I think can go a long way toward helping to plant the seeds for this next emergent worldview.